Welcome to the fifth video of Azure AI Fundamentals Certification course. In the previous video, we learned about conversational language understanding. And here we'll be discussing about custom question answering, one of the feature offered by Azure AI Language Service. So in custom question answering, you can upload your own data and create a conversational layer over this data. The concept for this video is inspired from the AI 102 training course I attended to pass the certification. I'll provide the link to the course in the description box below. Without much introduction, let's get into the video. Azure AI Language is one of the natural language processing service offered by Azure. And in this session, we'll be seeing custom question answering feature of Azure AI Language Service. Now, about custom question answering, it was earlier known as QnA Maker. It is used for building a question answering system. So it enables us to upload our document, train the model and deploy the model. And whenever a user asks question which is present in the trained document, the model will be able to provide appropriate answers to the user. So it is kind of a chatbot that answers frequently asked questions. A use case scenario is a customer service chatbot. So if the customers ask doubt or questions to the chatbot, it will be able to give a reply to those customers based on the training data. Now, how do we create a custom question answering model? So for that, first we need a knowledge base. And it is in the knowledge base where we will upload documents, question answer pairs, FAQ documents, etc. So we can upload all these things to the knowledge base and after that train the model and then we can deploy the service. So whenever a user query comes, it will go through the knowledge base, find the same question or similar question and provide the answer to the user. It's mainly used to build a chatbot which answers frequently asked questions. Then after deploying the model, we can improve the model from customer feedbacks, retrain the model and redeploy the model. Now what is a knowledge base? Knowledge base is where our training data or the uploaded data resides. And whenever a user asks question to the model, it is from the knowledge base that the model fetches the answer for that question. Now let us go straight into the demo. Now this is my Azure portal. Since custom question answering is a feature of Azure AI Language Service, what we have to deploy is a language service. Now here I'll go to Azure AI Services, Language Service, and I will create one. So now what we need is custom question answering. So I will select that feature. Now I'll continue to create my resource. I'll select the resource group. So I have an existing one. I'll select that. I'll go with East US region. I'll give a name to the resource. Now I'll select the standard tier. I will acknowledge this. Everything else I'll go with the default. Now I will review and create the resource. Now our resource is deployed. We can go to the resource group. Again here you can see two services are deployed, but we actually deployed only a language service. And here we can see a search service as well. So why did it get deployed? So the thing is, we talked about knowledge base few minutes ago. Knowledge base is where we upload our FAQ documents. Now this knowledge base is hosted in a search service. So that is where we upload our training documents or FAQ documents. So what is a search service? A search service index the document and make it easily searchable. That is what a search service does. So when we deploy a custom question answering model, a search service will be deployed default. That's why here you can see a search service along with the custom question answering or the language model which hosts the custom question answering project, which is going to host the custom question answering project. So now we can go to our resource and we can go to the Language Studio. We'll be doing this demo in the Language Studio. I will sign into the Language Studio and while signing it, it will ask me to select the language service. So yeah, it is asking me to select an Azure resource. It's the default directory. I have selected my Azure subscription. Resource type is language and here I'll go with my language service which I created just now and I'll click done. Now I'll go to understand questions and conversational language and what we are deploying is custom question answering. This is the next generation of QnA Maker. It will customize the list of questions and answers extracted from your content to provide a conversational experience that suits your need. So it is basically a question answering model. So first I'll create a new project. I'll go with English, click on next. This is my language resource and this is my Azure search resource, which is default created with my language resource. Now I'll give a name for my project. Now the source language is English. Then here I can provide default answer when no answer is returned. So if a user is asking a totally unrelated question or a question that is not present in the document, so the model will return this default answer. So here I'll provide, sorry, I don't know the answer. Please contact customer support team. This will be my default answer for the question, which the model is not able to figure out the answer. Now I'll go with next. Then I'll create the project. So here you can see the created project. I'll go to my project. Now the next step is to add source. So you can add a file or a URL or a chit chat. So chit chat is like a template you add to the model. So it can be professional, friendly, witty, caring or enthusiastic. So if we select professional, the model will be very professional. We select friendly, the model will be friendly. The mode of asking questions and there will be greeting you and the chatbot will talk in a friendly manner. So that is what is chit chat. You can select any of this personality and add to the model. Now here we are going with URLs. I'll add a URL and I'm going to add the URL of this Microsoft documentation, which is frequently asked questions for conversational language understanding. So I'll go with this URL. So this documentation contains few questions regarding language understanding model and its answers. So let us try this URL out first. So I'll provide the URL and provide a name for the URL and I'll select auto detect. So it is an unstructured document. You can give unstructured. Then I'll click add all. You can provide multiple URLs, but I'm just going with one and I'll add. Now here you can see the supported format of the documents. Now it has been added. The next step is to edit the knowledge base. So this is the document which we uploaded and it has all these questions present in it. How do I use entity components? Which languages are supported? How do I get predictions? All these questions. Now, if we want, we can modify the knowledge base. So the first question is, how do I create a project? You can edit the answer if you want. And also you can add alternate questions. So what is alternate question? So here the question is, how do I create a project? So sometimes a user may ask, what are the steps to create a project? Now, if a user asks like that, the model will not be able to give the correct answer. So we have to tell the model, if a user asks, how can I create a project or what are the steps to create the project, you have to provide the same answer. So that is what adding alternate question is. So I'll add alternate question here. What are the steps to create a project? And I can add more alternate questions like, can you explain to me the steps to create a project? Like that, you can add alternate questions for any of these questions, different format of the same question, so that the model will provide the same answer for all the questions with the same intent. Now next is follow-up prompt. So what is follow-up prompt? So follow-up prompt is used for multi-turn conversation. This helps the client application to provide top answer and provides more question for the user to select if needed. You can view all the connections to a question answer pair by selecting view context tree. So I'll show you what is add follow-up. I'll add follow-up to this question. How do I create a project? I'll select this. Now I can link another related question to this particular one, so that the user will get more information regarding what he is asking. So how do I create a project? I will link another question to it. I'll link existing pair. I'll go to the documentation. I will add this question to it. So this is the question I'm linking to. How do I create a project? Now it should appear like training details, and then I'll add that prompt. So we'll understand better about follow-up prompts once we test the model. I'll explain it better there, but again we'll add one more follow-up prompt for this question: how do I create project? Here I'll add this question. I'll select this question. I'll add how to be the text displayed, use different languages, and I'll check this box and I'll add the prompt. Now don't forget to save the changes. So now I have saved my changes. I have two alternate questions for this question: how do I create a project, and two follow-up prompts as well. You can do the same with all other questions, but for the time being, I'm leaving it there. Now next step is to test what we have done, or to test the model. So on the right side, a chat screen has appeared. So I'll ask the question: how do I create a project? So the model has given the reply. See the quick start to quickly create your first project. So that's the answer given, and that will be the answer in the FAQ document as well. Yes, this is the given answer to that question in the FAQ document, and the model has reproduced the same answer. So now this is the follow-up prompt. So I have added two follow-up prompts to this question. One is training details, and other is use different language. So if the customer want to know more about how to use different language, so he can click this button and the model will provide the answer for that question. So that is what is follow-up prompt is. The model will give some follow-up details. Now I can ask this question in different format. Do you know the steps to create a project? So yes, the model has replied correctly, and it is again providing the follow-up prompt. So the model is working as expected. Now I can ask another question. Training is taking a long time. Is this expected? Yes, the given answer is correct. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask a totally unrelated question. What is the weather today? So what the model does is it will go through its knowledge base and figure out such a question is not present in its knowledge base, and it should come up with the default answer which we provided while we created the project. So let us see that. So that has not happened. The model is going with how do I create a project answer. I don't know why it is behaving like that, but ideally the model is supposed to give the default answer which we provided while we created the project. Now I asked, can I order a pizza? And it is giving the answer for some other question. So the model is not up to the mark. So if you are really planning to deploy the model and use it in production or something, you have to do much more training. So this is a very basic model just to show the workflow, just to explain how it works. If you want, you can click inspect here, and here you can see the answer given by the model, and the confidence score is very low. It is like 0.02%. So the model itself know this is the wrong answer, but I'm wondering why it didn't give me the default answer which I gave in the beginning, like sorry, I don't know, please contact the customer service. I wonder why the model didn't give that answer. But anyway, the model is pretty sure that this is a wrong answer because the confidence score is 0.02%, and it is given the source. It has taken it from this page, and we can inspect this question which is actually present in the document which we uploaded. So here you can see the confidence score is 100%. So it is the same question present in the FAQ document which we uploaded. So the confidence score is 100%. So that is how the custom question answering model works. After this, you can deploy the knowledge base and get prediction URL and use that URL to embed in your application. And you can use the question answering model. So for the time being, we can deploy the knowledge base. I'll deploy it. It will take a couple of minutes. So now the model is deployed, and we can get the prediction URL, and we can use this URL to query this model endpoint. So now you can create a bot as well, a chat bot from this model. For the time being, we won't be creating a chatbot, but let us go through the documentation on how to deploy this chatbot. So it says you can create several bots quickly, and it can point to the same project for different regions. So first you have to click create a bot. After that, you have to provide all these details: a bot handle name, resource group location, pricing tier. So this may incur charges to you. It is not free. And after the bot is created, you can test the bot And also you can integrate the bot with different channels. These are the available channels. You can integrate it with Alexa, email, Facebook, Microsoft Teams, all these available channels. So that is how we deploy the chatbot. Now don't forget to clean up your resources. We have seen the demo for custom question answering model. Next is the knowledge test. So the first question, you are building a business chatbot using custom question answering to handle simple user queries. Which of the following are valid ways to create question and answer pairs in custom question answering? Select the 3 correct methods. So what the question is asking is, how can we create question answer pairs in custom question answering project? What are the 3 valid ways? So the first option is automatically generate questions and answers by extracting content from an existing web page. And we know that is the correct answer because that is what we did. We auto-generated question and answers from an already existing web page. We provided the URL and selected auto-generate. So that is the method we followed in our demo. Then the option B is use automated machine learning to train a model with questions from a file. So that is not a valid option. There is nothing like automated machine learning to train a question and answering model. That option is not available. Now option C is manually add question and answer pairs in the custom question answering portal. Again, that statement is indeed correct. We can manually add question answer pairs to our model. Now option D is integrate with the Cortana channel and use voice interactions to collect questions and answers. So we didn't see that option while we created the custom answering project. So that option is incorrect. Now option E is import chit-chat content from predefined sources to enrich the knowledge base. So we indeed saw that. We saw chit-chat and there are 5 or 6 options available like professional, friendly, enthusiastic. All those options were available. So we saw that and that is one of the correct options. Now what are the valid ways to create question answer pairs in custom question answering project? One, we can upload a URL and ask to auto-generate question and answers. We can manually add question and answers. Then we can import chit-chat. So the correct answer is A, D and E. Sorry, the correct answer is A, C and E. Now to the next question. You build a custom question answering bot by using a frequently asked question page. You need to add professional greetings and other responses to make the bot more user friendly. What should you do? Now you know the answer for that question. The correct answer is add chit chat. You can select the chit chat and then select professional to make it more professional and add other responses to the bot. Now enable active learning is to make the bot learn from user questions. Then multi-turn question is multi-turn question means follow-up prompt. So to create multi-turn question, you should add follow-up prompts. So in this scenario, to add professional greetings, we need to add chit-chat. Now choose correct statements. You can use a language services question answering to query and issue a SQL database. Now that statement is wrong. You cannot use the question answering to directly query and issue a SQL database. What you use is a knowledge base where you upload your documents and the model will querying that knowledge base, not a SQL database. You should use a language services question answering when you want a knowledge base to provide the same answer to different users who submit similar questions. So that is indeed correct. We need to use the question answering service to provide the same answer to different users who submit similar questions. So that is one of the use case of custom question answering. So that is a correct statement. Now language services question answering can determine the intent of a user utterance. Again, if you have watched my previous video, I have well explained what is a conversational language understanding model, what is an intent and what is a user utterance. So the language model used for determining the intent of a user utterance is conversational language understanding model or a LUIS model. It is not custom question answering. LUIS model is better suited for this scenario. So we can say that the third statement is incorrect. So in the provided 3 statements, the correct one is option 2. Now, what did we learn from this video? We learned about custom question answering. Also, we built our own model in Azure AI Language Studio. In the next video, we'll be discussing about Azure AI Speech Service. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next.